An engine replacement on a modern vehicle runs anywhere from $4,000 to $11,000. Most people never see that bill coming because the failure didn't happen overnight. It happened over 60,000 miles of oil changes with a product that looked right on the label but wasn't doing the job inside the engine. I've tracked this long enough to tell you there are exactly 3 oils you want to avoid putting in your vehicle, and 3 that I'd actually trust with my own engine. The difference between the 2 lists isn't price, it's construction. A guy brought in a 2017 Toyota Camry last year, 84,000 miles, 4-cylinder, the 2.5-liter, one of the most bulletproof engines Toyota has ever built if you treat it right. He'd done every oil change on schedule, never missed one, kept the receipts in a folder in his glove box, which I always respect. But he'd been using the same oil brand for 6 years straight. Same brand, same grade, every 5,000 miles. And when I pulled the valve cover to diagnose an intermittent tapping noise, what I found under there didn't match the maintenance history in that folder at all. There was sludge on the cam journals. Not catastrophic, not rebuild the engine tomorrow sludge. But there was a thin, dark coating on metal surfaces that should have been clean. Passages that should have been wide open had visible restriction. The engine had been running on schedule, but it hadn't been running clean. And when I asked him about the brand he'd been using, I wasn't surprised. It was one of the 3 I'm going to talk about today. Here's what most people don't understand about motor oil, and what the oil companies have absolutely no incentive to explain clearly. The grade on the label, Maimen 5W30, Thoros 20, 5W40, Maimen when weighed, tells you how the oil flows at different temperatures. It tells you nothing about filtration efficiency, additive quality, oxidation resistance, or how long the oil actually maintains its protective properties under heat and load. 2 bottles sitting side by side on the shelf, both labeled 5W30 full synthetic, can perform completely differently inside your engine. The API certification on the back, SNSP, whatever the current standard is, sets a minimum bar. And minimum is exactly what some of these products are designed to clear. The thing that separates a genuinely protective oil from a label-compliant one is the additive package. Every motor oil is roughly 75 to 85% base oil and 15 to 25% additives, detergents to keep the engine clean, anti-wear compounds to protect metal surfaces under load, antioxidants to slow breakdown at high temperature, dispersants to keep contaminants suspended so they don't stick to metal. The quality and concentration of those additives is what determines whether your engine runs clean at 80,000 miles or starts showing the kind of wear I found in that Camry. The problem is you can't see any of that on the label. And that's exactly where the marketing budget does its most effective work. Now, before I go into the list, I want to know where you're driving. Drop your state or country in the comments, because climate matters here more than most people realize. The same oil that performs adequately in a mild Pacific Northwest winter can start breaking down in the thermal stress of a Phoenix summer. One of the 3 oils on the avoid list has a specific weakness in high heat conditions that changes everything about whether it belongs in your engine. We'll get there. And if this kind of straight line, no filter breakdown of what's actually going on inside your engine is what you're looking for, subscribe. This channel exists to cover the chemistry and the mechanics that the oil companies and the quick lube chains have no reason to put in their advertising. No agenda, no affiliate deals, just what I've seen. The avoid list starts with a name that's going to surprise a lot of you. It's been in American garages for decades. It's inexpensive, it's everywhere, and the brand recognition is so strong that most people assume that recognition equals quality. It doesn't. And the reason why comes down to something specific in the construction of the base oil itself. Something that shows up clearly when you run a used oil analysis after 5,000 miles and compare the numbers to what the bottle promised. The filter worked hard. That's not a compliment. It means the oil wasn't suspending and holding contaminants the way a stronger dispersant package would. The filter trapped them, which is what it's supposed to do, but you want the oil carrying contaminants suspended to the filter, not depositing them on engine surfaces first. There's a difference between an oil that cleans and an oil that allows. Supertech in a pinch, for one interval in normal conditions, isn't going to destroy an engine, but it's not what I'd put in a vehicle I plan to keep past 120,000 miles. Oil number 2 to avoid. Quaker State Conventional. This is where it starts to get uncomfortable for some people, because Quaker State has been in American garages since most of the people watching this were kids. The brand name carries decades of credibility, and that credibility is doing a lot of work that the product itself isn't. Quaker State's conventional line uses predominantly Group 2 base oil, similar to Supertech, but the marketing budget is dramatically larger. The bottle looks better, the branding is familiar, and so people assume it's performing better. In independent used oil analysis testing across several thousand samples, Quaker State Conventional consistently shows higher TBN depletion rates at 5,000 miles than mid-tier synthetic alternatives. TBN, Total base number measures how much acid neutralizing capacity the oil has left. When TBN drops, acid buildup in the engine accelerates. There's also something I want to show you, not in this block, but in the next one, about what happens when you cut open an oil filter after using each of these products for a full drain interval. The filter doesn't lie. What's trapped in those pleats tells you everything the label won't. Let's start the avoid list. And I'm going to go from the one that won't surprise anyone to the one that absolutely will. Oil number 1 to avoid. Supertech, the Walmart house brand. I know, you already knew this one was going to be on the list, but I want to explain exactly why, because the reason matters more than just, it's cheap. Supertech meets API certification. It clears the minimum bar. The problem isn't that it fails the test, it's that it was designed to pass the test and nothing more. The base oil used in Supertech Conventional is typically Group 2 mineral oil with a basic additive package. Detergent and dispersant concentrations are calibrated to the minimum required threshold. What that means in real life is that the oil does an acceptable job for short intervals in a mild climate with a well-maintained engine. The moment any one of those conditions shifts, you push to 5,000, you're driving in July heat, your engine has any existing wear, the protective margin disappears faster than it should. When you cut open a filter after 5,000 miles of Supertech, what you typically find is heavy particulate loading at the outer edge of the pleats. Acid corrodes soft metal surfaces, bearings, cam journals, the same surfaces I found coated in sludge on that Camry. Quaker State also produces full synthetic and synthetic blend products that perform significantly better. The conventional line is the problem, and because people buy Quaker State by name without distinguishing between the product lines, a lot of engines are getting conventional protection when they think they're getting something more. Drop a comment if you've been running Quaker State for years. I'm curious how many people have actually checked which version they're using. Oil number 3 to avoid. Castrol GTX Magnatech. And this is the one that genuinely surprises people, because Castrol spends more on marketing this specific product than almost anyone else in the motor oil category. The entire pitch is the intelligent molecules that cling to engine surfaces during cold starts. It sounds compelling, it sounds scientific. Here's the actual science. Cold start wear accounts for a significant portion of total engine wear over a vehicle's life. That part is true. The Magnatech additive, the clinging chemistry, does provide some improved surface coating during startup, but the Magnatech line is a synthetic blend, not a full synthetic. And the base oil quality underneath that marketing-friendly additive is Group 3 mineral oil, the minimum threshold to be legally called synthetic in the United States. At operating temperature, over a full drain interval, a genuine full synthetic with a strong antioxidant package outperforms Magnatech in oxidation resistance and viscosity stability by a measurable margin. What Castrol built with Magnatech is a product with one genuinely good feature, that cold start protection, surrounded by conventional grade performance for the other 95% of the time your engine is running. And they've priced it at full synthetic levels. The lesson across all 3 of these oils is the same. Marketing and engineering aren't the same budget. Now, here's what I want you to hold on to for the next section. The 3 oils I'd actually put in my own engine share something in common that has nothing to do with the brand name on the front label. It's visible in the used oil analysis numbers, and it's visible when you cut the filter open afterward. I've already mentioned the filter test. In the last block, I'm going to show you exactly what to look for, and why 2 of the 3 Protect oils on this list come from brands that also make products I just told you to avoid. Same company, completely different product. That distinction matters, and most people buying oil at the auto parts store have no idea the gap exists. Let me close out the filter conversation first, because I promised you something in block 1. When you cut open a filter after a drain interval using one of the 3 avoid oils, here's what you see. Heavy dark loading concentrated at the outer edge of the pleats, sometimes with visible sticky deposits on the center tube. The filter caught things, but the pattern tells you the oil wasn't keeping contaminants fully suspended and moving. It was allowing some of that material to settle and accumulate instead of staying in suspension all the way to the filter. When you cut open a filter after the same interval using a genuine full synthetic with a strong dispersant package, the loading is different. The contamination is distributed more evenly across the pleat surface. The center tube is clean. The media looks saturated, not caked. That's what a dispersant package actually working looks like. Contaminants picked up, held in suspension, carried to the filter, trapped. not deposited on your cam journals first. That visual difference is the most honest performance test I know. No marketing involved, just what's in the paper. The 3 oils I'd put in my own engine. First, Mobil 1 Full Synthetic. The extended performance line specifically, Mobil 1 uses a group of PAO base oil, polyalpha-olefin, which is a chemically engineered base stock rather than a refined petroleum product. Group of O base oils have inherently better temperature stability, lower volatility, and stronger oxidation resistance than Group of mineral oils at equivalent grades. The additive package in Mobil 1 Extended Performance is built for long intervals, up to 15,000 miles under normal conditions, which means it's heavily loaded with antioxidants and wear protection chemistry. For a 5,000-mile interval, that margin is substantial. Used oil analysis on Mobil 1 Extended Performance at 5,000 miles typically shows TBN values that most conventional oils can't match at 3,000. Second, Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic. And here's where the story gets interesting. Pennzoil Platinum is made using natural gas instead of crude oil. Shell, who owns Pennzoil, developed a process called PurPlus that converts natural gas into a crystal clear base oil with virtually no of the impurities that exist in petroleum-derived base stocks. No sulfur, no aromatic compounds, no wax. The result is a base oil with exceptionally low volatility and strong thermal stability. Independent viscosity testing shows Pennzoil Platinum maintains its rated viscosity significantly better than petroleum-derived synthetics at sustained high temperatures. Now here's the twist I told you was coming. Shell owns Pennzoil. Shell also owns Quaker State. The same parent company makes one of the oils on my avoid list and one of the best-performing motor oils available in the United States. Same corporate roof, completely different product, completely different engineering investment, and a price difference of about $4 a quart at the auto parts store. $4 separating the product that leaves sludge traces on your cam journals from the one made from natural gas with hospital-grade purity standards. That's not an accident. That's a product portfolio strategy. Quaker State serves the price-sensitive consumer who buys by brand recognition. Pennzoil Platinum serves the consumer who read the label. Both products are profitable. One of them protects your engine. The other one just looks like it does. Third, Castrol Edge Full Synthetic. Same situation. Castrol makes the GTX Magnatec line I told you to avoid. They also make Castrol Edge, which uses a titanium-reinforced additive technology and a full synthetic Group 3 base oil with a genuinely strong antioxidant and anti-wear package. The fluid titanium technology in Castrol Edge reduces metal-to-metal contact under load conditions. Not the cold start cling of the Magnatec, but sustained protection during the 98% of operating time that happens after the engine reaches temperature. The guy with the Camry switched to Pennzoil Platinum after that valve cover inspection. 2 oil changes later, 10,000 miles, I pulled the cover again to chase a different noise that turned out to be unrelated. The cam journals were cleaner, not perfect, but the sludge coating had reduced. The oil was doing what oil is supposed to do. Here's what I want you to walk away with. Check what you're running right now, not the brand, the specific product line. If it says conventional anywhere on the bottle, or if it's a storehouse brand, you're running minimum grade protection in an engine that costs thousands to replace. The upgrade to a genuine full synthetic from Mobil 1, Pennzoil Platinum, or Castrol Edge runs about $8 to $10 more per oil change. On a 5,000-mile interval, that's roughly $2 a month in additional protection for an engine that costs $6,000 to replace. That math isn't complicated, and the oil companies are counting on you not doing it. That's what this channel is about. The chemistry behind what you're actually putting in your engine. Not the commercials, not the shelf placement, not the bottle design. Subscribe if this is useful to you, and drop a comment telling me what oil you're running and how many miles are on your engine right now. I'll be in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.